Hello everyone, welcome back to the Black Nationalist channel. So today's discussion, I want to talk about the Tennessee Representative Paul Sherrell. Now, this has been on the news last week, and I meant to cover it last week, but wasn't able to get a chance to. But I wanted to go and cover it right now. And the reason why I want to cover this is because it's something important that is pertaining to our community. We all know about in Mississippi that they're trying to bring back Jim Crow, which have all of the government officials in Mississippi to be white only and no black representatives at all. So black people will basically be under the segregation of white people once all over again in the state of Mississippi. So what that basically just tells you is that Mississippi is still burning. Now, with this Representative Paul Sherrell, he is a Tennessee Republican. He wants to bring back lynching. Now, he said, and when there was the Tennessee House of Representatives, they held a hearing on a bill to bring back the electric chair and firing squad. He said that he would like to bring back the hanging by trees. His words. That's what he said he wanted to bring back. This was on February the 28th of this year when he made it known that he wants to bring back lynching. Now, the reason why I have said that this is just nothing but Jim Crow all over again, let's go back and understand what Jim Crow was. Jim Crow laws were a collection of state and local statutes that legalized racial segregation. Jim Crow was named after a black minstrel show character. Remember, I have talked about the minstrels as well, which existed for about 100 years from the post-Civil War era until 1968. Mind you, my father was born in 1962 and my mother was born in 1965. So we were still fighting segregation all the way until 1968. So therefore, this is the reason why when you hear people say that reparations, we don't deserve reparations. Well, guess what? Jim Crow was literally not that long ago, because my parents, they are in their 60s, early 60s. So yes, reparation is needed. Reparation is a blood debt that is owed, and to guarantee justice to our ancestors as to what they have went through in this country. Now, Jim Crow laws were meant to marginalize foundational black Americans by denying them the right to vote, hold jobs, get an education, or other opportunities. Those who attempted to defy Jim Crow laws often face arrest, fine, jail sentences, violence, and death. Now, the root of Jim Crow laws began as early as 1865, immediately following the ratification of the 13th Amendment, which abolished slavery in the United States. Now, black codes were strict local and state laws that detailed when, where, and how formerly enslaved people could work, and for how much compensation. The codes appears throughout the South as a legal way to put black citizens into indentured servitude, to take voting rights away, to control where they live and how they travel, and to seize children for labor purposes. So, in other words, these codes were used to deprive us of freedom, to deprive us of getting ahead in life. After the so-called ending of slavery, this is because there were still slaves all the way up into the early 1900s. There really were. So just because that 13th Amendment came about, it didn't help much, because we still have black people who are still working as slaves. But remember when I talked about in my previous video about the watermelon, about how it was used as a symbol of prosperity and entrepreneurship for formerly known slaves, because this is something that they took pride in and that they was able to feed and help their family. But white people during that time, during Jim Crow, that they seized it as an opportunity to make fun of black people and to withdraw power from them, because they did not like the fact of seeing black people being entrepreneurs. They did not like the fact of seeing black people being free. So they turned the watermelon into a negative stereotype, which is why you see so many these photos of showing black children, black adults eating watermelon in the most craziest, buffoonish fashion. So the same way when it comes to these black codes and to Jim Crow, it is to take away rights of black people, and it is a legal way to put them in an indentured servitude, meaning that they did not want them to prosper. They want them to still remain as slaves, but without calling them slaves. Now, during the Reconstruction era, local governments as well as the National Democratic Party and President Andrew Johnson thwarted efforts to help black Americans move forward. Violence was on the rise, making danger a regular aspect of foundational black Americans' life. Black schools were vandalized and destroyed, and bands of violent white people attacked, tortured, and lynched black citizens in the night. Families were attacked and forced off their land all across the South. The most ruthless organization of the Jim Crow era, the Ku Klux Klan, was born in 1865 in Pulaski, Tennessee, as a private club for Confederate veterans. So the Democratic Party, we all know, has always worked. Both parties work against us. I don't care what anybody says. The Democrats and the Republican Party works against us. However, the Ku Klux Klan came out of the Democratic Party. So whoever says that the Confederates, that it's just a Southern, it's just a Southern take of their heritage. No, the Confederacy is a racial group. Even the guy who created it based off of racism, his Confederacy. So the flag and everything is all stemmed from racism. Now, this took place out of Pulaski, Tennessee. Remember, we have Representative Paul Sherrell, who wants to bring back lynching as a form of crime to deal with convicts. Well, with white people, you have to realize they have always showed the lynching of our people on postcards, which was mailed throughout the U.S. cities, throughout the United States. That's what white people did. See, it gives them a sexual orgasm to see our black bodies swinging. See, it's not enough that you put our people into modern day plantation, which is called the court, which is called jails or prisons, and using the court system to do so, mass incarceration of our people. But now you want to be able to have the ability to bring back lynching from a tree. His words. He said lynchings from a tree. His words. It's a sexual satisfaction that they get from seeing that. Why else do you think that there was thousands upon thousands of white families out there watching a black body swinging from the tree? This is, even though they talk about the KKK, which we do know the KKK is nothing but the police department. I'm not sorry for saying that, because there is photos. I remember seeing photos of the KKK. They would be all in their getup and they be going right into the police station. Only thing they're doing is just coming out of their KKK uniform and putting on the police clothes. That's what it's about. Because, see, the KKK was a secret society terrorizing black communities and seeping throughout white Southern culture, with members at the highest level of government and in the lowest echelons of criminal back alleys. So those who were in the government practices the KKK. They practice that. They have a hatred. This is the reason why we have so many laws that is built up against us, because those in high top government positions, they have a hatred towards us. They have a hatred for us. They wish nothing more than to see us all killed, because, see, after the ending of so-called slavery, all of our people were meant to die. They were not meant to live after that. They meant to die. However, that did not take place. So what did this government do? They said, let us find a way in order to suppress and to oppress these people. Now, you might have some people out here that will say, oh, we're no longer suppressed. We're no longer oppressed. We're always thinking about racism. We can never move past racism. We always have this mindset that there's a boogeyman. There's just a racist white person around here. But guess what? Every white person is racist until proven otherwise. Everyone. I don't care what anybody says. And the reason why is because they benefit from the system of white supremacy. They benefit from this system that was built up to protect them from any punishment. So when you want to sit up and say that, oh, we're always thinking about racism, it's because racism is embedded in everything that we do. It's embedded in our schools. It's embedded in our employment. See, affirmative action used to be for us because white corporations did not hire us. After they have blown up our businesses, we had no other choice but to look to white people. But there are signs of white employers talking about that they will only hire white people until affirmative action had to come into play. But we now know that affirmative action who benefits from that is white women. They are the ones who benefit from affirmative action, not us black people. That is from the New York Post. You could just Google who benefit from affirmative action and it will show you that it is white women. So affirmative action is not going to go anywhere. So racism, when it comes to our education, when it comes to our housing, we have redlining. The government created redlining, which is the modern day ghettos. The government created that. If you don't have the book Redlining, I do suggest that you get that and you study it. It comes to our housing. It comes to the way how we think. It comes to the way how we move. And it comes to the way how we act and the way how we behave. Every fashion of life, it stems from racism. Again, when you have these during the Jim Crow laws, you have people in the highest level of government creating laws that were meant to suppress and oppress our people. They did not want our people to be free. They did not want our people to be free. So therefore, common sense should tell you that yes, we are going to be facing racism no matter where you go. When you look at the corporate world, you can only reach a certain ceiling. The only way that you could get by is to have your own business. But guess what? It's very difficult for our business to get loans, to get business loans, even with an A1 credit. It does not matter. The whole point, like I have said in my videos time and time again, white people do not want to see us come into a position of power. Jay-Z said it in his song that you're nothing but a nigga with money. That's it. You're just a nigga with money. So you still going to face racism. He even said he still faces racism and he's a billionaire. So when I hear of other black people want to put down black people who are for their community, want to sit up and say, oh, you all need to stop thinking about racism every time you turn around. You over here talking about white people this, white people that, white people this. Well, you know what? White people, they benefit from this system, this religion of white supremacy. And white supremacy is embedded in every facet of life. Military, education, housing, banking system. It does not matter. The entertainment system. It does not matter. It is everywhere you go. You look around you. The laws are unfair. You know what? No, the laws are working according to the way how they're supposed to work. And that is to make sure that black people are to be locked up for no matter what the reason may be. We see that legal marijuana, people with all of these medicinal little stores popping up, but they was locking up black men left and right during the 3 strikes laws that Biden created, locking our men up, putting them into prison because they had a small ounce of marijuana on them, giving them decades and decades upon jail time. But now that it's legal, our men, they don't take part of it because they got a record. And if our men don't have a record, some of them still can't get involved because there's so many loops that you have to jump through. But it's easier for white people because they thinking about their next generation of wealth. We're seeing this. They're thinking about their next generation of wealth. They're doing it again and again. And you mean to tell me that you have black people out here actually thinking that there's no such thing as racism that's taking place? Are you kidding me? Racism is everywhere you go. Everywhere you go. But yet you want to have somebody, this dude, Paul Sherrell in Tennessee, who wants to bring back the swinging of bodies from trees. We all, black people, know what's that about and what it sends to our psyche. They know what this is and what it does to us. So when you be hearing of these black bodies, of these black men swinging from trees, ain't nowhere in the world they do this from suicide. Somebody is doing this to them. They're murdering them. They're murdering our people. But now they want to make it legal in Tennessee. And if they make it legal in Tennessee, just imagine the other southern states that they're going to make it legal as well. They want to get that sexual rush, that sexual drive from seeing our people's bodies swinging from the trees once again. And they want to do it legally. And I could guarantee you that they're going to give it not to somebody on death row. I could guarantee you that he probably been in there for like 30 or 40 years. And then they're like, you know what? It's time for us to hang you. Make up some story as the reason why to hang this black body. That's what they want. They want to see our black bodies swinging in the wind again. These people are hateful. These people are evil. Like I said, white people are racist until proven otherwise. I don't care what anybody says. You could disagree with me on that. That is your right. That is your business. But I'm telling you, the way how these people act, even the most docile white person that may try to be your friend, guess what? They benefit from this system of white supremacy. And when it comes to them want to trade themselves in your shoes, they're going to want to stand in their own shoes and not be in your shoes, because they know the problem that comes along with being a black person in America. This is why, for the life of me, I cannot understand as to why our people want to be so quick and they want to lay up with these white devils. I cannot for the life of me understand that. That's exactly what they are. They are the devils that are walking this earth. Ever since they was in the Caucasus Mountains, this world was at peace when it was run by black people. Until those people came out of those mountains, they brought nothing but hell on earth. That is all they brought. And they took their anger and their frustrations out on us. For unbeknown reason, because they feel that they are superior while we are inferior. Even when our people went teaching white people how to bathe, how to clean themselves, and all of that, they still betrayed our people. Our people taught them math. Our people taught them science. Our people taught them medicine. Our people taught them health. Our people taught them geometry. Our people taught them astrology. Our people taught them science. That is exactly what our people did. And these people turn on our people. White people turn upon us after they done got the knowledge that they so desperately wanted and needed. They used it and turned against our people. So you have these high government officials that wants to bring back Jim Crow. We cannot allow that. We are not going to be black citizens in the age of Jim Crow all over again. That's why you see this photo up here saying black citizenship in the age of Jim Crow. We're not going to be living underneath Jim Crow again. That's not going to happen. We all should be ready to put the boots down on the ground and be ready to fight back. See, this just goes to show you how voting, just to vote, gets you nowhere. It gets you absolutely nowhere. We have not moved an inch since the 1960s. We have not moved an inch since voting for the Democratic Party. And for some odd reason, our people have to get off the Democratic train. I'm not saying get on the Republican train, because they just as worse. Like I said, this dude, Paul Sherrell, he is a Republican representative from Tennessee. And what I just said was that the KKK was born in 1865 in Pulaski, Tennessee. It came out of Tennessee, and Mississippi is still burning. My grandmother, I remember when she was alive, and she told me how her parents and the rest of her brothers and sisters had to flee Mississippi because her parents was on a plantation in Mississippi. And they had to flee because out of the fear of their lives. Her mother was very dark skinned. Long, beautiful black hair. And she had to work the field. While her father, his mother was raped by the slave master. So he was light skinned. He did not want to reside in the house. So he worked out there in the field with his wife, with my great grandmother. You can never pay me to go to these southern states. You can never pay me because I know how I am. You look at me crazy. I'm not going to be another Emmett Till. I'm taking as many as I can with me. We have to have that maroon spirit. We have to have that needs to come right back up in us. The Seminole spirit. We have to have all of those spirits of our ancestors to come right back within us in order for us to fight back. Because I'll be damned if I have to fear for my life because they want to bring back these Jim Crow laws. We cannot allow this to happen. And black people need to stop voting for empty symbolism. They need to vote what is going to actually be for us. What is actually going to help us to advance. If you got these candidates who is not going to do anything for us, you do not vote for them. You just do not. I refuse to see any more of our black people bodies swinging in the wind for these sick, depraved individuals. That's what they are. We are dealing with some sadistic, wicked, hateful individuals. We most truly are. That is what I want to talk about for this morning. I will be coming back at you with another timely video. Thanks again.